Jen and Jay, just kind of thinking about a process on how to do this. So I think my suggestion, and if you have different suggestions, please let me know. But I was thinking we all had time to, we sat down, we did the interview process. We all had time to look over the resumes and things like that. And we may even, as we are fortunate to have the interviews being recorded, I actually have the opportunity to review some of the interviews as well. So my thought process is to, if each select board member could give their who they feel is the best candidate for the position, and at that time, if we have a majority for the same person, then I'd like to ask the board to vote on that particular person. If we don't, then we can go back and each board member can again recommend who they feel is the best candidate for the position, and we can discuss that further until maybe we can come up with an agreement on who we feel will be the best candidate and person for the interim fire chief position. Jen, thoughts?
I think that's a good way of going about it.
Okay. Jay?
I have no problem with that.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I just really want to take a minute to really to thank the people that put in for the position. We had some great candidates that applied for the interim chief position. I'd also like to kind of take the time to just recognize the candidates, their time, service, experience, knowledge, dedication, really to the firefighter position, really to all the departments that they work for. I know reading the resumes and just hearing the candidates speak during the interviews, to me, it was impressive to see the knowledge, again, experience, their backgrounds in the firefighter profession. It was good to see that. It was nice to hear. So I just want to really thank the candidates who put in for the position. I think they all did a nice job. Jen?
I was just agreeing. They did a very good job with their interviews, and it made it into being a tough decision for me.
Okay. Jay?
I really don't have anything to say any more than you guys already said.
Thank you, Jay. All right. So at this time, if we could, Jen, I'll start off with you. And you can let me know who you feel your top candidate for the position would be.
For interim chief, and this made it very difficult, but for interim chief, I feel that currently Bob Sherwinski would be my best candidate because he's interim.
Okay. Jay, you might be on mute.
I would agree with Jennifer on Robinson as being the best qualified. I mean, after all, he's a retired fire chief and a fire chief for 9 years. But the question I have, is he the best fit for Granby? And I'm going back to what our officers asked us to do, is try to get somebody that they could take a look at before we go out and advertise full time. And again, I think Bob is still, by his resume, his answer to questions, is the best qualified to be fire chief. But our offices have asked us, and I got the feeling that Bob is not interested in applying for the full-time job when it comes open. I don't know if you two got that same feeling as I did or not. So with that being said, if we're just going to do this for the interim only, without trying to see what we have for a long term, I would go with Bob. If we would like to look at another individual that could possibly be a long term, and they can get a look at the individual, I would go with Nicolene Turgeon.
Okay. All right. So where I am, and again, I just look at this position as our interim fire chief for the time period that we need him or her, and I would agree with Jen as well, and with Robert Sherinsky, and I hope I got his name correct. And again, I just look at what was presented and the value that he brings to our town, and just as the experience in that position is what I see, and I look at something that our town, as far as the fire department, is bringing someone in at this current time at that level that has that experience, that knowledge, just not in the fire department itself, but also as well as in the community. Bob did talk about a lot of the interactions he has with the community as well. So I think he can bring some good things to our town. And yes, it is on an interim type basis at this time as a position. But, with that said, I think, we can have someone that can come in that's, to me is almost through, again, with the knowledge and the experience. That's what I really look at. And I think that's something that will work for us at this point in time. So, listening to Jen and Jay, it sounds like we're in agreement with the interim fire chief position and considering and offering the position to Robert Sherinsky. All right, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion for us to direct Mr. Martin to contact Mr. Sherinsky in regards to the position.
So moved.
Is there any
I'll second Jen's motion.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jen. Is there any further discussion at this time? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
I'll
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Chris, so you got that, if you could contact Mr. Sherinsky with the follow-up in regards to the position. All right. Chris, I know you have some other things for us tonight.
First.
I
We
can't hear.
Do we want to do the 61A request first, or do you want me to touch base on some other things that came in?
I think we could start off with the 61A. I know that was something that was brought up at our last meeting, and the request was to follow up with town council, just to, I know Jay had some concerns in regards to it. So it was a follow-up in regards to the town council to make sure if there's any issues that we are not aware of in regards to that. So I know you spoke with them, Chris. So if you can report out on the information received from town council, would be great.
Yes, I did get in touch with Brian O'Toole, our town council. I know there were some questions regarding zoning bylaws that were raised during the discussion of the exercising of our option under Mass General Law, Chapter 61. When I spoke with counsel, he indicated, actually he stated flatly, that the only topic in front of the board as part of this discussion is, does the land that is being proposed being taken out of 61, does it have value to the town of Granby? Yes or no? That is the only thing on the table. There is no zoning issues at stake. It is only, does the town wish to exercise this option or not? Any zoning issues will be up to other boards' purview, because it falls, anything on zoning will fall under either the planning board or the zoning board of appeals, not this board. So it doesn't matter what the proposed use is of the land. It has no bearing on our decision tonight of whether or not we want to exercise our option to purchase or not purchase.
So, and the recommendation was for us not to exercise our option to purchase it, the town's option to purchase.
Well, all I'll say is, we had a land use committee look at it, and they came up with their opinion. But if the land use committee doesn't have all the facts straight in front of them, I don't know how they can make an appropriate decision.
Jay,
Yep.
what I guess the question comes down to is, what value to the town do you think this land is?
I have never seen the land myself. I'm looking at it from a process standpoint. On the select board as the executive committee, we are giving a lot of things to sign that are reviewed and recommended to us. And I have a concern, whereas I totally believe this does not meet our bylaws. And as the elected official, I think the credibility is we should be following our bylaws. And it's clear to me that in the zoning bylaws on table 2, and if you want to look it up on page 17 and 18, page 18 has other structures, structures other than dwellings. The proposed removal from 61A does not meet that. It's going to come down to a 40-foot of frontage and 2 acres, in my opinion, from reading the zoning. And that's a lot different than 40,000 square feet and an easement.
But what value to the town would the land have? That's
I have to
basically
look
what
at
we're
it from
coming
a
down to right
standpoint
now.
of the 40-foot of frontage and the 2 acres of land versus the 40,000 square foot and an easement. I have not physically been out there, but it does not meet our bylaws as been presented to us.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
as I said at the beginning, town council says zoning has no bearing on the decision tonight. That is up to whether to take it out of 61A or 61A, B, or C, whichever it's under. That goes through the assessor's department. Whether it is a buildable lot, whether it is a non-buildable lot, whatever use that they want to do falls under the zoning bylaws, which are administered by either the planning board or the zoning board of appeals, not this board. It does not matter what is the proposed use. It is, do we or do we not want to exercise our right of first refusal under Chapter 61 of the Mass General Laws. That is the only topic that is in front of us tonight. It doesn't matter what the zoning bylaws say. They have no bearing on the decision tonight per town council.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. And Jen or Jade, anything further in regards to that?
No, just when I make a decision, I look at all the facts in front of me and make a decision. And right now, all the facts are not there.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll bring this to vote. I know we, last week, it was postponed. With the recommendation and direction to Mr. Martin to follow up with our town council, which he did, and he's provided us with the information from town council. So,
And
I
I'll
guess-
just state for the record that I requested Mr. Martin get the answer from town council in writing. He stated that was against policy. I said, please send me a copy of the written policy, and I have not seen that yet.
right, with
Mr.
that
Chair,
would have
can I
been,
answer that one?
well, that would have been a board decision to have Mr. Martin do that. And at the last select board meeting, the direction to Mr. Martin from the board was to contact town council and report back to this board. So that wasn't asked for by us.
And all I'm saying is I asked for a copy of the written policy, which governs that policy, getting a decision from town council, and I have not seen that written policy yet.
Mr. Chair, can I answer that?
You may, Mr. Martin.
It is not a written policy, it is past practice. Every time that this board has asked for an opinion from town council, it's always been accepted that the town administrator would contact council and would relay the information back to the board. Never has the board requested it in writing unless it was directed at the time that I was told to do that. One board member cannot direct me to do something. It is a majority of the board who ends up making decisions. I cannot be pulled in three different directions if three individual board members want me to do something. I go based upon a majority, and if Mr. Joyce does not like that, then he can address it with the other two board members, as far as I am concerned. I am not taking orders from one board member and one board member only.
All right, well, I appreciate your input, Chris, and as I stated earlier too, that the direction to you from the board was to contact town council, report back to the board. This board did not ask for anything in writing, nor do I feel as a board member that I need something in writing for town council. I have a town administrator in that position to do that for us. So as a board member, I don't see a need for it. I don't plan on asking for it. Jen, would you have something you want?
No, I don't see a need for it. We've in the past accepted town council's verbal responses. I don't know why this is different.
All right. So in regards to this, and I'll go back to the beginning, it was recommended to this board that we do not exercise our option to purchase the land. And the land is of no value to the town. So and I would, based on what they recommended to us, I would agree with that as well. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to not exercise our option under Mass General Law, Chapter 61, to purchase the land as indicated. So, 0 Kendall Street, property tax parcel ID 7-A-21. Real property is located on south side of Kendall Street, Granby, Massachusetts, containing approximately 15.41 acres identified on the Granby tax assessor parcel 7A-21. Said land and land is identified on lot 19 containing 15.41 acres, or more or less as shown on the plan of the Lammy Granby prepared by Gerald R. Lavoie and recorded in the Hampshire County Register of Deeds Plan Book number 7114, book number 22, page 121. Okay. They're looking to continue on. It is page 79, shows assessor's map of parcel 7A21 consisting of 15.41 acres, of which only 0.92 acres, 40,000 square feet, will remove from the chapter land owned by Wing. If I pronounced the land name wrong, I apologize for that. So what they're looking to remove from that parcel is 0.92 acres, which is 40,000 square feet.
That was a mouthful, Glenn.
It was. Can you
So I'm
repeat
just
it
gonna
back?
say,
Jen?
so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Okay. I will second Jen's motion. Is there any further discussion at this time? I didn't hear any, I don't know if my speakers aren't correctly, but I did not hear any further discussion. So at this time, I'll take a vote. All in favor of not exercising our option to purchase the land under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 61. Aye.
Aye.
Jay?
Me to say nay?
Nay? Is a no?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's all set. Chris, is there anything else you want to bring up in this meeting?
One more topic.
Okay,
Under the cares relief,
Hear you, Chris.
what's that, Jen?
I can't hear
We
Chris.
can't hear
Oh,
him.
your microphone's off.
sorry. Under the CARES municipal relief funds that were granted to the town of Granby for fiscal year 2021. Round 2 is due by March or October 30th. I have put together another request. The total amount of the funds that I had included was $74,253, of which the CARES Relief Fund will cover $28,463. And I have a certification that needs to be signed by the Chief Executive Officer, who in the town is the Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and therefore I'm looking for permission for Chairman Sexton to be able to certify that we are looking for $28,463 in round 2 request of funds under the CARES Municipal Relief Fund.
Chris, do we know if this is going to be the last round of CARES?
As of right now, yes. However, I do know that a lot of towns are still waiting to find out what FEMA will fund or not fund. And based upon when FEMA starts getting through all those approvals or disapprovals, I believe the state has looked at reopening this again, be able to cover any costs that FEMA may not cover. So we may get more money. They may extend it. I don't know. I believe CARES was only put through December 30th of 2020. And I think that was done at the federal level when the act was put together.
I know this is a weird question and I don't expect you to have it fully in your head, but sometimes you do. Do you know approximately how much we have expended as a town due to COVID?
Through September 15th, we had spent 111,000 plus or minus dollars.
111,000. Okay.
So we still have from September 15th through December 30th, which could end up being probably about another 60, 70,000 maybe. Because what's happening now, as of September 15th, we're only allowed personal protection equipment for first responders only, where before we were able to do personal protective for various people, okay, to prevent the spread of COVID. But they changed the rules halfway through the program, and now it's just for first responders that we can get reimbursement for. The same thing with disinfectant supplies. They are also saying it's only for first responders. However, I have a problem because we do have people coming into our buildings by appointment, and we are disinfecting all our municipal buildings to be able to prevent this potential spread of COVID-19 to the general public when they come and visit. So I believe that's masks and the disinfecting materials should be covered by FEMA, and that may end up being an argument with them in the future.
Fair.
Does this $28,000 include the requirements of the school, or are they doing it separately? I can't hear you, Chris, you're on mute.
Can you say it again?
That's okay, I know, I saw you on mute. The $28,000, does that include the school, or are they doing it separately when they file for their stuff? And the 28,000 is just for the rest of the town?
The 28,000 also includes some of the school expenditures because they had applied and gotten additional on different parts of the CARES Act, so that some of their other expenditures will be paid for under those other grants. So this is all I have that I think is available for submission to FEMA for reimbursement. And the CARES Act usually picks up about 25% of the cost because FEMA is supposed to cover 75% of the cost of those type of expenditures.
So the 111,000 that the town has spent on COVID-related things that Jen asked, I'm presuming that none of that was costs created by the school.
Oh, no, there's cost by the school in there. I put in for the HEPA filters. I put in for the glass or the plexiglass shields that they purchased, some disinfectant supplies, some of the issues for remote access, DocuSign so that they can sign remotely, things like that. You know, I put in whatever the school forwarded to me as COVID-related expenditures, because I contacted the business manager and requested copies of all invoices that they had expended on the school side for COVID-related expenses. I included those in with the town expenses, and that's what has been submitted to both FEMA and to CARES Act.
But we're only authorized to apply for 28,000 between all the departments in the school.
Based upon all the invoices that I had, yes, that's all I have. However, I do know that as we continue forward and continue buying PPEs and things of that nature for the school and for the first responders and things of that nature, I will be still submitting those to FEMA, hopefully in getting the 75%. And I'm hoping that there'll be a round 3 of funding under the CARES Act to allow us to get up at least through December 30th for potential reimbursements.
Just that when you said we spent 111,000 because of COVID-19 and we're only going to recover 28,000 at this time, It just seemed like an awful small amount, that's all.
No, Jay, the 111,000 is what has been submitted to FEMA for a 75% reimbursement. Those expenses are currently under review by FEMA. What happens is the same items that I submit to FEMA, I submit to the CARES Act to get the other 25% reimbursed under CARES. So if you look at the 28,000 that I have there, that's basically 25% of what I had put in addition to the other 27,000 I put in under round one.
Okay, see, I didn't understand it, that's why I asked the question. Because it just seemed to carry the numbers.
The spreadsheet I sent you, okay, regarding this, it has the first round, I had submitted $78,634 of expenses to CARES. Part of that was also submitted to FEMA. We got 26,000, which is basically 25% of the 78,000, hoping to get the other 75% from FEMA. Round two is I submitted $74,253 posed expenses, okay, of which we're going to get 28,463, which is basically 25%. The 111,000 that I submitted to FEMA only covers through September 14th. I'll be putting in another requisition from September 15th through December 30th to FEMA to hopefully recoup 75% of the costs incurred for that period of time. Jen asked me how much we had spent to date. And the only item I had for her at this point in time was what has been submitted before the rules changed. Another requisition will be going into FEMA, and I figured that will probably be about another, I think I said about 60, 70,000 from the 15th of September to December 30th.
So hopefully the majority of the 111,000 will be covered in one way or another.
Yes.
I'm fine. I understand it now. Just the difference in numbers. I looked at the spreadsheet, couldn't figure it out, so that's why I asked the question.
Good. All right. Well, this time I'll entertain a motion to allow me to assign said document. It's actually known as Attachment B, certification. For a reimbursement of $28,463 from the CARES Act.
Usually helps if you take it off mute. So moved.
I'll second Jen's motion.
And that's
All
it.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Let's go get a check for $28,463.
Every penny home.
Absolutely. Nowadays. All right. Sure, hold on.
That's your copy.
Oh, geez, you tell me that. Yes. All right. Was there anything else, Chris? No. All right. Jen, anything else?
Nope.
No. Jay, anything else?
Nope.
All right. One of my favorite parts of the meeting. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right.
I thought Jen was going to.
What's that?
I thought Jen was seconding your motion.
No, I was entertaining the motion.
Oh, entertaining.
Then
I
Jen made
thought
the
you were
motion.
making the motion.
All right, good. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, folks, have a good night.